Thank you all for joining us today. It was kind of hard to get out beat the storm before we all gathered today. This is my first time in Arts on Main, and it's beautiful. I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to have Arts on Main host us today. So they even made coffee, I think, for us over there. So really appreciate the fact that they are allowing us to use this building. And they have some before pictures over there if you're interested. And also at your leisure or at some point, if we'd like to take a tour, Julie is, or Jane is happy to take us on a tour. But first, I need you to do a few things. So. Anyway, I have a action to request approval of the technical committee agenda for today, June 8th. And I'm seeking a motion in a second. A motion by Michael Stevens, second by Lori. All those in favor? Aye. Those, yes, we have a quorum. Thank you for asking. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Approval of the June 8th, 2022 technical committee meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve? Steve moved. Second. Michael. All those in favor indicate aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. MPO director's report. All righty. I'm going to just read from my handy dandy thing here. We received FHWA assistance for MPO-wide local road safety plan. And this also includes the Wapatiti boundary. So it goes beyond our boundary. We initially came through this project through a GIS program with Crawford County Public Works. Ian Hamilton, who will be speaking a little bit later today, is the consultant on that project and on this project. And we recently sent out some online maps to identify issues and challenges on local roads. You may see a couple copies kind of scattered throughout. And so he'll give a presentation on that development. We're really hoping that that local road safety plan, that we can get it completed and position ourselves for a Safe Streets for All grant, an implementation grant, or a supplemental plan grant through the Federal Highways Administration. So it's really great to be maybe one step ahead of the curve, so to speak. We are, I just told you about the FHWA pilot project with the FHWA Development Safety and Traffic Data Collection System and Analysis Framework. That is through Ian Hamilton also. On the National Science Foundation Civic Innovation Challenges Grant, we launched the Ride for Smileys program. There are 8 stations. We launched on May the 8th. And that's a partnership between Frontier MPO, Arkansas Colleges of Health Education, and then the principal investigator is the University of Arkansas Fayetteville Engineering Department. And so there are 8 stations. One's located in Chaffee Crossing, the rest are in North Fort Smith. And it's to understand how we can integrate bike share in low-income communities and other mobility access, and understand a pricing structure for that. What business model would work to sustain a program like that? Bike share operators generally do not go into low income areas, but these are the people that need the services the most so that they can get on Lori's bus and do all that. So we were recently contacted by the National Science Foundation for a supplemental grant. So we wrote the supplemental grant. They want us to research and do some more analysis on the sustainability of equity and a program like this. And we're expecting about another $97,000 more in funds. So we're looking at potentially kiosks, hopefully working with the Fort Smith Transit to see if we can get an integrated card that could be used for the bike share and with transit. But we don't know much about that yet. We're just investigating it. TAP grant site visit in Barling. We went there. And Stacy just finished and submitted the TAP grant on behalf of the City of Arlene, and then she also submitted through her fellowship a grant, or no, an action plan for Arlene also that she's been working on through her fellowship. We met with ArcBest Health and Wellness. They're very interested in understanding how to retain and attract employees to the area. So they're very interested in the bike share program. And so they're looking at different sponsorship tiers for the Smileys project. And we submitted, we were able to provide the city of Van Buren with a small grant from the CDC Walkability Action Institute. We also, Crawford County just finished their access project over at the Diamond Park Complex ball fields. And let's see, we did the final paperwork for that grant. We will be presenting via video to the American Society of Civil Engineers at the University of Washington's Urban Freight Lab Technical Institute grant. We were selected for the FHWA Health and Transportation Design Framework through the Environmental Excellence Award, and I'll go to Austin in early July with that. So we're proud of our efforts at the MPO for that. And then I'll let Stacy do the Walking College Fellowship update.
So May 13th, we held an in-person workshop in Little Rock where I got to meet with other fellows. We were given presentations from our department and our coalition for obesity prevention. We also went on a sure that everybody had experience. Even since every group got a wheelchair, and take turns in the wheelchair, we had to push in really the different obstacles. The walkability action plan for Darling, it includes the sidewalks on the south side of Highway 22 and the TAP grant for, and then also connections to Spring Hill Park and a crossing over Highway 25, where it was really difficult. I'll go over it with even if it's a living document, so we can make changes and try to get her to adopt it. So really did a great start. Shouldn't take long to get it finished.
Great. And then just a number of different places and presentations that we've done over the past couple of months. A lot of presentations with leadership Crawford County, Talking Freight, which is an FHWA group, and et cetera. Oh, okay. No. Okay, great. And then, of course, we'll have Ian Hamilton a little bit later for the local road safety plan and interactive map that we're really seeking additional input from folks just to make that a more robust plan and ensure that we've captured some of the challenges and issues with local road safety. And then, of course, our next meeting is scheduled for September 19th. You're anticipating in person, but of course, we're all living through a COVID-19 pandemic, so that may adjust depending upon what's going on. Build an arena for my horses. So I'm really thrilled about that. Let me tell you, I'm so happy. And of course, if there's anybody that would like to offer any public comments or share projects that you're working on at this time, love to hear about it.
One thing I saw on this maps here, if you not taking your county along the intersection, because they are going to live in work hard in out of the county, I don't know where they got all of that, but they probably research every action. I was amazed somebody picked up the, or the thing about, and in places that haven't lived it out, there are places that are main road. You needed to see what Crawford County had, there were places spike. They do things. It's common for winter time, especially people who live off the road. You're down the road somewhere, they're driving around for looking for you, and it's no difference to that.
Yeah, and of course, Ian will talk more about that. But it's been a real help to have the RDOT folks and FHWA folks working with us. To some extent, ODOT is working with us also, but we have such a small section of Oklahoma that it's more peripheral. But Oklahoma, our portion of Oklahoma is included to some extent in this plan also. And we appreciate all your input and help with that. And then sharing that with folks. It's not just for us and officials, but it's also for the public to provide their experience and their story to make that plan reflect what the communities and regions' needs are. So we're looking forward to that and really appreciate the fact that basically Ian saw that I wanted a local road safety plan on draft on my board, and he saw that during one of my meetings. He's like, "We have money for that. FHWA can do that for you." And I'm like, "Yes." And so it was really wonderful. And Crawford County did end up winning the Federal Lands Access Program grant that we assisted with them. And they, I believe, got $100,000 to do safety improvements to some guardrails and things like that on the National Forest Service roads in Crawford County. So they'll be managing that. And, anyway, so are there any questions?
Hearing with RDOT and a great turnout. We have for the time, a lot of them seen a lot of reaction to maybe so that's moving right along. I think the mayor had talked moving up the overlay against from the square with something that was part of deal with the 5 in part of it because of the addition of the area. They decided that we'll see that after maybe later on here. And we're struggling with our sidewalk project. We've gotten all these sent back to our line, but we keep getting questions about simple things along the road. Bushes in front of Taco Bell. Yes, you are. Can we get this started?
Yeah.
We got some more questions. We're going to have to do this, but we're struggling. I don't understand this further jobs. Agree with the sidewalk.
They do.
Every days. Yeah. I've seen people fall in ditches and everything else, trying to. So as soon as we hope to get started along with the same time it's over. And so we're really proud of them.
Well, definitely let us know how we can assist in any way with that.
One, 38. That was it went to court. Of course, one, the judge that completed all of our needs. Now, there's part of the popping up. We're ready for it to start. Hopefully, like I said, we take their overlay can't cover and we're going to see improvement on that.
Yeah, it's always exciting to see those projects get done. I know Cody helped on that TAP grant, so it's pretty satisfying when you actually see the sidewalk being installed, and it's like, yes. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, do let us know how we can assist, and happy to do that. I was really excited the other day. I drove by another project, City of Fort Smith, the main library, sticking a sidewalk in front of there. And I have been like for that ever since I moved here. And I was so excited to see it. So that was pretty thrilling to me. And are there any more comments or projects that anybody would like to bring up?
The Lake Alley Trails, for phase 2.
Yay, awesome. Great news. Good things happening across the region. So fabulous. We also did attend a Friends of Recreational Trails meeting, and we'll discuss some of our final UPWP in a moment. But just to let you know, if you did not see it in the updated UPWP, we have some carryover funds that we will be using to help the city of Fort Smith with a bike and pedestrian plan, and then also assist Western Arkansas Intermodal Authority with utility development concepts engineering plan. Just in case you missed that, I wanted to point that out because that was in the updated version. So without any further comments, we can move on to new business. Okay, great. Our first resolution is to approve the final MTP update. We had about 104 public comments. In spite of COVID, we really tried our best to go out to many of the different cities, present, get information, leave surveys, all that type of thing. With COVID, it was definitely more difficult. We also did online, open houses and that type of thing. And of course, advertised it through social. It was clearly more of a challenge than we would have liked to have, but that's the way the world is. So with that, I'm just seeking a motion to approve the final MTP update. I do want to say, however, though, we do anticipate some amendments likely in the near future because of all the new federal funding opportunities. So there may be an opportunity to add more projects. Of course, I-49 changes or updates to maybe a part of that. But at least with the document, we can then start really moving forward and begin implementation. Okay, seconded by Michael. Thank you. Moved by Lori. All those in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, thank you so much. Resolution 22-4, approved TIP amendment number 2. Stacy, please remind me, is this the transit or not the transit? Okay. Okay, TIP amendment number 2 is with ODOT, and they had some changes to some of their funding. And so we're just seeking to approve resolution 22-4 to update the ODOT portion of their transit funds. Michael made the motion, second. Steve, all those in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion approves. TIP amendment number 3 is 22-5. And this is for the City of Fort Smith Transit to approve some changes in some of their funding. They're moving a project forward that was scheduled for a later date. So they have some funds that are available through them through FTA, and they just need to document that process. And so we're just making an amendment to the TIP so that they can implement that project. And of course, Lori's here, and if you have any questions, feel free. So a motion to approve TIP amendment number 3. Second, Michael. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And resolution 22-6, approve the final UPWP. We have just like a couple copies of things around. The two changes that you might not have captured earlier were the ones that I discussed with the carryover funds for the city of Fort Smith, assisting them with a bike and pedestrian plan. And they have a new mobility coordinator, Michael Mings, and then also to assist Wyatt with their design and utility corridor kind of stuff for the proposed port. A motion to approve the final UPWP. Steve, second by Michael. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And the Arkansas Department Transportation, oh, I'm sorry, establish a bylaws subcommittee. This is important. So I just need a couple volunteers. We need to update our bylaws. We have membership dues that are vaguely referred to in this document, but not really specifically spelled out. And each municipality and entity pays some form of membership dues. I do not believe these have been updated since 1976. So we're going to those entities to ask for a small increase. And I can't remember, it's per capita, it's maybe 17 cents per capita, somewhere in there. And so we do need to update our bylaws to reflect that, and just make sure that it's up to date. It's a little bit older, so I'm just seeking some volunteers who might like to serve electronically, online, Zoom, whatever. So, yay, Sunny, yay! We have one. Okay, we got Sunny. And probably need like at least 2 or 3 people. We will also ask the policy board. So if I need to come back and tap. Yeah. Well, you can volunteer, Mark, and then we'll voluntold him. Gee, Mark, you signed up for this, so yeah. She's gonna write it down. And of course, if Mark can decline it, so desires, but yeah, thank you so much for that. And then the Arkansas Department of Transportation updates. We have Marcus here.
I don't know. Legislation day. We're going to add small area and check. And we got another property, 379, which is a job, the local bridges, about 44. Current. Yeah. Probably some. No, bridge. Bridge. I can be driving down there. Nobody got no shot. But anyway. Research house. And we also it's research. In the board, that should start. Like something. And then we got several. schedule. The local 23, that's now. We start, that all, better. It's got to be spring. Way of that in slide. I don't think really know what. Forward. Improvements is currently lane. And then that's the beginning. This year, she tried to clear in the project properly working on. And anticipate construction floor. There's going to be a second. And as supposed to be the money, it's not appreciated. I would can't. That's all I.
Thank you. All right, Oklahoma Department of Transportation updates. Apparently there's no current updates, but I am working with them. You may see this highway competitive grant program scattered throughout. This was actually put together by Casey Covington at MetroPlan, and it's an overview of all the different federal grants that local entities, MPOs, that type of thing can apply for. And there is an new investment bridge grant, and State Line Road has some really bad bridges and some really kind of not so great things. So I'm working with Sarah to see if there's some way that we cannot partner with the state of Oklahoma, the city of Fort Smith, the town of Arcoma, to come up with a local portion and chase some of those dollars. But I would encourage you all to take a look at this. I appreciate that Casey put it together. We serve on some of the same boards at the national MPO organization, and definitely want to give him credit. But it really outlines some of the upcoming NOFOs and dollars and who's eligible to apply. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And we're also working with the city of Fort Smith on a Safe Streets for All grant also. Is there anything else anyone would like to add? Open discussion time. Now's the time to say what upcoming festivals you might have coming in your communities. All right, that's good. Our next in-person meetings, I thought it was September the 19th. Yeah, it is September the 19th. I see on this agenda it says the 14th, but I believe it is the 19th. We'll verify that for you though, and it will be on your save the date also. And with that, I would welcome a motion to adjourn. So move. Steve Core. All right, we're adjourned. Ian Hamilton will join us at 11:30. I'm not sure exactly what time it is now, but Julie could give us a quick tour of the facility. It's 10:58, so we got a half an hour. We could ask her to give us a tour of the facility. And we could also hear him. Thank you.